Chanell Love 22. It's a vibe. Like, follow, and subscribe. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Chanell Love 22 podcast, where love is the highest frequency. I'm your host, Sweet Tea MP, and today we are going to be discussing a topic that is very important, very necessary. I've been hearing a lot of people discuss this topic and say how it's been affecting them lately. Today, that topic is anxiety. Anxiety is something that a lot of people deal with and maybe not even realize that what they're dealing with is anxiety. It's something that can be debilitating and make your life difficult to handle on a daily basis. We're going to discuss some of the signs and symptoms. We're going to discuss some strategies to kind of help you overcome that anxiety and even at home techniques to help you regain control. Anxiety can be something that keeps you up at night, but it also can steal your joy, keep simple tasks feeling very overwhelming when you're trying to complete them. Anxiety disorders are among the most prevalent mental health disorders globally, and it does affect a significant portion of the population. Here in the United States, over 40 million adults, that's 19.1%, have an anxiety disorder. In 2002, in a study that was done, 1 in 5 adults over the age of 18 reported symptoms of anxiety over the past 2 weeks, just to show you a little bit of how common anxiety is and how people deal with it on a daily basis. And today we're going to break down how to recognize it, most importantly, how to master it, and start your healing journey. So let's talk about what anxiety is. Anxiety is a natural response to stress, but it can become overwhelming and interfere with daily life. Some common types of anxiety would be generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety, panic disorder, phobias, and then we can jump into discussing some of the signs and symptoms of anxiety. So you can have excessive worrying, racing thoughts, sleep disturbances. Some of the physical symptoms of anxiety can be shortness of breath, rapid heartbeat, dizziness, restlessness, irritability, and also muscle tension. Anxiety can become debilitating at times, depending on what your level is of anxiety. Of course, everyone has different levels of anxiety that they experience. And anxiety isn't just a mental struggle, it can seep into every aspect of your life. So, personal relationships, work relationships, and your performance at work as well. The worst part is people don't even realize how much anxiety is running the show. So, when we speak about anxiety affecting personal relationships, let's talk about how that can show up. So, anxiety can create strained connections, make your connections uncertain. It can create invisible walls between you and a loved one. And it can also even create toxic relationships, toxic environments. So, for example, overthinking and reassurance seeking behavior can be caused by anxiety. Someone with anxiety may constantly second guess their partner's feelings. And an example of this would be you sending a text message to your partner. They don't answer immediately. A couple of hours have passed. Then your anxiety kicks in and you're thinking, instead of you assuming like maybe they're busy or, something's going on, you assume that maybe they're mad at me. Did I say something wrong? Are they losing interest? This leads to excessive reassurance seeking behavior, such as asking questions like, "Are you sure we're okay?" which can be emotionally draining for your partner. There's also fear of conflict and avoidance. This makes people fear confrontation over even small issues. Instead of addressing the problem initially, they let everything build up and sometimes even create resentment in a situation. So, for example, say you have a friend that you have plans with and your friend cancels at the last minute. Instead of you saying, hey, this bothers me, when you cancel our plans at the last minute, you kind of like brush it off like, oh, it's okay, hold on to it, but you inside you're stressing about it and it's bothering you, and you even start distancing yourself from your friend in this situation without even addressing the issue or letting them know that this is something that bothers you, just because you want to avoid the conflicts that it may bring if you bring it up. Another situation would be hypervigilance and misreading situations. So, anxiety can make you hypervigilant, hyper aware of someone's subtle change in tone, expression, or behavior, often leading to false conclusions. So, example, if your partner comes home quiet after work or a long day, instead of you assuming they're just tired, your anxiety kicks in and it's like, they must be upset with me. What did I do wrong? And this can lead to you overcompensating or trying to correct a problem that isn't really a problem. There isn't even an issue, but your anxiety is leading you to think that there is because they're acting in a way that they don't normally act. This can be emotionally draining for you yourself, just letting your anxiety take control and have you trying to fix something that it doesn't even need to be fixed. There's also situations where, like a push pull dynamic in a romantic relationship. Some people with anxiety get overly attached in a relationship and constantly need or are seeking validation, while others pull away out of fear of rejection. So, for example, you really like someone, but your anxiety convinces you that they'll leave you anyway. So you start doing self sabotaging behavior by withdrawing, or you pick fights to test their commitment. And as we talk about relationships, parenting is another topic. Anxiety definitely can show up in how we parent and also can be passed down from generation to generation based on how your upbringing was as a child. So some children experience anxiety because they lived in a household with a mother or father or someone who raised them who had anxiety, and that behavior poured onto them and now causes them anxiety, or they, have developed some of the behaviors that their parent had. So, a parent with anxiety, a lot of parents may project their fears onto their child, being overly protective, assuming the worst case scenarios. For example, your child may want to go on a school field trip, but in the parent's mind, you're having racing thoughts of what could happen. What if they get lost? What if something bad happens? And then your child, this leads to you having excessive restrictions on your child, and your child doesn't get to experience life or experience some of the fun things that are presented that their peers are able to go to and attend. And then we talked about a little bit how anxiety can interfere with your work life as well. So in the workplace, anxiety can block your growth in your career, hinder your performance, also create imposter syndrome. Some people are known to procrastinate and also show signs that they are trying to make everything perfect. So perfectionism. And this can keep you from completing projects because you're trying to make it so perfect. And all of that also can increase your anxiety because you're reaching your deadline, you're trying to make sure everything's perfect. So it kind of just works against you with your anxiety. Imposter syndrome is something like saying you feel like you're a fraud, even though you're qualified for the job, because you may get praised at work, but your inner voice is saying, do they really think I'm that good? Are they just being nice? What if they find out I'm not as smart as they think? This keeps you from applying for promotions and speaking up in meetings or taking leadership roles. Some ways also anxiety shows up is people who overcommit to avoid guilt. So you always say yes. Someone asks you for your help with the project, or someone asks you, can you stay and help a little later, or anything that is asked of you by a coworker or manager, you always say yes because you have fear of disappointing people, and you don't want to be seen as the person who has caused that disappointment. So that's something that is important to recognize, and make sure that that's not something that you're doing at work. This also can lead to like burnout or resentment or exhaustion in the workplace if you're just overcommitting, taking on too much, putting on too much on your plate, and you can't deal with it. I always want everyone to recognize their own personal feelings and emotions and how things make you feel. We need to pay attention to our bodies, pay attention to when we are feeling anxious, pay attention to when we feel super overwhelmed, and just recognize those environments, whether it's work environment, home. It can even be a person that you're around that makes you more anxious than normal. So recognizing the times that you're feeling super anxious and recognizing things that cause more anxiety is the way to start tackling those things that are increasing your anxiety on a daily basis, and starting to create boundaries and avoid allowing those things to cause you so much anxiety on a daily basis. If it's a person, you might not can handle that person all day. Maybe it's half a day, maybe it's every other day, but just recognizing how someone makes you feel or how a situation makes you feel, and creating that time to allow yourself to be aware of how you feel, and making those decisions of how to create those boundaries to protect your own mental health. Um, so just anxiety is more than just feeling nervous. Of course, we talked about how it infiltrates our thoughts, relationships, and careers. You can start identifying these behaviors and start breaking free. Another way to the main way that I always recommend for people is therapy. Therapy is another way to tackle your anxiety, another way to learn skills to help decrease your anxiety, to help you deal with your anxiety on a daily basis. Therapy helps you rewire your anxious thought patterns. It provides you with the tools to start doing that. There are different types of therapy, of course. There's cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness-based therapy, trauma-focused therapy, and just depending on your history or things that you've been through in your life, what's best for you, your therapist will determine what type of therapy is best for you. There's also exercises that you can do at home to try to help control your anxiety. One of my favorites is breath work. So breath work is my favorite because I feel like although it calms you down from your anxiety, but it does physically as well. So if you're having racing heart, shortness of breath, some of those physical symptoms of anxiety, doing good breath work in that moment can kind of help calm you down, physically help calm your body down as well. So one of the methods of breath works that I like to do sometimes is you inhale for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold it for 4 seconds. This is called box breathing. It's a method of breath work to kind of help control your anxiety. There are also grounding exercises that you can do to help control your anxiety. One of those methods would be using something cold or like cold water or holding ice, something that kind of shifts your focus from the thing that's making you so anxious and brings you back into the moment of what you need to be focusing on directly. So it kind of shifts your focus from the anxious thoughts and get you back into reality. Body movement and connection. One of the things that people enjoy doing to help with anxiety is also yoga and stretching. So stretching can help relax your muscles, but there are specific yoga poses as well to kind of help reduce anxiety. And journaling is another form of something that you can do at home to help with your anxiety. There's also so you can have a journal for like writing down the things that you're constantly thinking about, reframing your thoughts, kind of putting down something positive when you have such a negative thought, replacing that with a positive thought. Gratitude journaling, that's something that shifts your focus to positive. So now you're focusing on all the things that you've done positively throughout the day or throughout the week, instead of focusing on things that you haven't done or need to get done. You're showing gratitude for the things you have completed, and you're giving yourself that credit, and that's also building up your confidence as well. So I love gratitude journaling. I did mention a little bit challenging anxious thoughts. So if you're having anxiety, it's basically like saying, is this a real fear, or is this just my mind exaggerating? Is this just my anxiety kicking in? And is this something that I'm really fearful of versus just my anxiety? So that's something to think about as well. There are also lifestyle changes that can be made. I don't think people realize how much um, what we eat affects our body. It can affect your mood. It can affect you physically, of course, right? So limiting your caffeine intake and your sugar intake, also processed foods, eating more fresh fruits, vegetables, things that grow naturally, that would help your body to be in a more calm state versus all the sugars, caffeine, processed foods. Creating a calm night routine for your sleep environment, that's very important. I love to I have a salt night light that I use sometimes, but sleeping in pure darkness is the best. If you do have to have a night light, don't try not to use like the TV or your phone. Scrolling on your phone is not good, but also because of the blue light that emits from your TV or your cell phone, it actually interferes with your body creating the natural melatonin that's necessary for you to sleep. So if you're a person who scrolls on your phone, or you got to have your TV on while you sleep, this could be interfering with your body regulating into that natural sleep mode. So try to avoid having the TV or phone on during sleep time. Also, you can listen to things like sleep meditation sounds, or some people like to listen to rain sounds or white noise, just whatever makes you comfortable at that time when it's time for sleep. Creating a good sleep routine is very important. Having that calm bath, creating that calming effect in your room. And then I also tell people, be sure, if you're a person who is home a lot, some people work from home, some people are home bodies, but try not to stay in your bedroom all day. Like, get up, try to make your bed and get out of the room, so that when it's time for sleep, your body is not thinking like, oh, okay, we're just up chilling because this is what we do all day anyway, chill in the bed and scroll on the phone. So create that routine that you can continue to do on a consistent basis at night to kind of help you get ready for bed. Maintaining a good sleep schedule helps decrease your level of anxiety, and also helps you stay on the right rhythm that you're supposed to be on with nature. It's, of course, the circadian rhythm of your body and nature can be thrown off if you're not getting enough sleep, and um, if you're not eating properly as well. Anxiety doesn't have to control your life. You can recognize the things that are making you anxious, recognize the specific symptoms that you're having that could be related to anxiety, and just know that you're not alone. There are other people who experience anxiety. And once you start to recognize the behaviors and recognize that, okay, this might be related to anxiety, this is not normal, this is not how I'm supposed to be feeling or thinking, then you can kind of get started on that journey of trying to correct the behaviors, trying to try different techniques to help improve your mental health when it comes to anxiety, having a better mindset, and rewiring your brain to reclaim your peace. And remember, it's a journey. It's not nothing that just happens overnight. It's something that you constantly work on, constantly will experience, because of course life has its ups and downs. There's rainy days and there are sunny days. So we're going to continue to deal with situations that make you more anxious. You may even have some depression. Life just is that way. And once you learn how to recognize your anxiety, recognize that this could be depression, or have those techniques in your pocket or tool belt so that you're able to use them at times that's necessary, that's what's important. And I like to, of course, always wrap it up with a proverb. A calm heart gives life to the body, but anxiety wears it down. So a calm heart gives life to the body. When we manage our stress and anxiety and cultivate inner peace, our body thrives, right? A calm mind can improve sleep, regulate blood pressure, support digestion, and strengthen the immune system. Ain't that the truth? Peace contributes to your overall health and longevity. That's also true, because we know anxiety, when you're in a state of anxiety, you're in chronic fight or flight mode, right? And this can increase your cortisol levels, leading to fatigue, headaches, digestive problems, and even heart disease. Anxiety can become overwhelming and drain your energy, causing tension, and make your everyday feels like a battle. So just be mindful of being in an anxious state, and understand how that can relate to your physical health. If anyone has any strategies that they use on a daily basis to kind of help manage their anxiety, or any tips or techniques that they want to share, feel free to comment below so that someone else may read it and it may help them. I have a friend who mentioned the other day that she didn't realize how much how much anxiety can cause an issue in your everyday life, but how often it shows up in everyone else's life. Now that she is aware of her anxiety, she also can see how it seems like she said it seems like more people are experiencing anxiety and they don't know that it is anxiety. They're just thinking that that's just how it is on a daily basis. But because she's super aware of her anxiety and some of the things that she went through, she can recognize those things and kind of help them through it, because it's some of the things that she went through. So if you have something that you want to share, feel free to comment it. You never know who you are reaching when you share stuff like that. I also want to discuss a little bit about the functional medicine side of getting to the root cause of your anxiety. Of course, we know anxiety can be related to some of the things that are going on physically in your body. And the root cause blood work analysis is a service that I provide, and it takes a deep dive into your blood work to kind of see if there's anything going on physically that can maybe be contributing to your anxiety, your depression, your insomnia, your cognitive dysfunction. Sometimes you have gut issues that can be causing you to have more anxiety, heart-related issues. You can have food allergies. You can have a buildup of toxins, heavy metals, parasites. There are different things that can be causing you to have anxiety and other mental health symptoms as well. So that is a service that I provide. I'll put the link in the comments of this video. If you are interested, it is a cash pay service, and it's $555. And if you're interested in that, or you want more information on that, feel free to DM me. And I also want to remind everyone to stay positive, think positive thoughts. I know that now is a tough time for some people, just with everything going on in the world, and people experiencing different illnesses and things like that. But I just want everyone to remain positive, try to replace that negative thought with something positive, and stay safe. I enjoyed you guys today, and I encourage you to continue to listen. I appreciate you for following and listening to me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. Chanell Love 22. It's a vibe. Like, follow, and subscribe.
Disclaimer. The information shared on the Chanell Love 22 podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not medical advice. Neither the host, guest, nor the podcast assumes responsibility for any actions taken based on this content. Listeners are strongly encouraged to consult a licensed healthcare provider before making any changes to their health, including medications, supplements, or treatments. This podcast is intended to comply with applicable regulations. However, it is not a substitute for legal or medical advice specific to your location. Listeners outside of the United States should ensure they follow healthcare guidance and regulations relevant to their regions. Thank you for listening, and remember, health is wealth.